Well, greetings, Sigma race fans. We come at you live here from Wiscasset Speedway in Maine. This is a third-mile short track, very fascinating, and it's going to be home to the SIGMA ARCA Series here tonight. Kind of a different format, as we're going to have two heat races to set up the main event for later on here. You're going to have 7 drivers transfer out of each heat race. The top 15 points are already locked into the main, so if you're top 15 in the points, you're safe. You don't have to go through a heat race to make it to the main, but you definitely got to get a top 7 in this heat race if you want to keep playing here tonight. 45 laps will go by pretty quickly, so track position is going to be huge for the 21 cars on track here. We've got Craig Bush alongside Tyler McCarroll on the front row, Casey Klein and Jamison Thole, Stephen Miller and Astro Atlas, TG Castlenut alongside Gabe McDuffie, Dylan Smith and Bucky Campbell. Violet Void jumps into the number 80 for Al Bunch Incorporated alongside Reese Landry there. Borat Sagdiev with Donovan Heist. Evan Snake, Rand Kataz, Sophie Harwick, Marvin Werner, Craig Popchris, Adam Jefferson, and Jeff Bolton. The rest of the lineup here in heat number 1. So top 7 transfer, we're going to get 14 drivers out of the heat races to join the 29 car field for the finale later on. Pretty far east that we've gone here. Maine, you don't get very far, much further east than that. And this is the furthest east the SIGMA Series has ever run. First ever time under the lights here from Wiscasset. Here we go. Craig Bush off to the early lead here. Tyler McCarroll on the high side. Casey Klein up to third. Jamison Thole in fourth. Stephen Miller and Astro Atlas your top 6 as they run. Gabe McDuffie would be your last transfer in 7th right there. So we're going to keep our eyes on this transfer spot, as it's going to be a high heat topic here. Already 3 laps in the books around this third mile of a track. Very, very jam-packed, action-packed racing here throughout the field. Looks like some breakaway at the front as the 18 gets a good lead there on Tyler McCarroll. TG Castlenut, he's running in about 9th at the moment. He's going to need to pick up 2 spots here. Finding that inside lane is going to be hard, though, as now he's got Violet Void alongside of him in the number 80 car there. TG Castlenut has an announcement for the team. He was hoping to make it through the heat race here tonight with the good news on the way. Still a lot of racing to be done in this heat. 39 laps to go. Once he finds the inside, he might be able to start cruising to the front. Borat Sagdiev getting alongside of him. That's going to bump him back to 10th. Getting that inside lane is huge here. And TG may get the opening and the opportunity to get down low here. Nope, and the 9's going to swoop in and take the spot away. All in the meanwhile, you've got a very interesting cast at the front of the field. Just not a lot of time in this heat race to get a mulligan, a reset button. You're going to have to come hard and fast to get to the front. or else you're just going to get stuck going home here tonight. Going to be a tough pill to swallow. Pretty much for everyone involved in the mix. Borat Sagdiev now getting up to 7th here, using that inside line to move through the field. And with heartbreak for so many, there's going to be, you know, that success for a lot of others that may not get the opportunity to race for main events like this. Looking at Borat Sagdiev there, it's going to be, you know, it'll be successful for that team to finally get some momentum in their favor. All in the meanwhile, it's Craig Bush out front, Tyler McCarroll in 3rd. Oh, and they're wrecking. There's the first caution of the race. Oh boy, it was an ugly looking wreck too. No, it was TG Castlenut running into the 81. And both drivers just go out of bounds. That is not how this night... Wow. Ouch. Was supposed to go. It was not supposed to go like that. Well, we will get at least one restart in the race here today. In the heat race, that is. We're going to go ahead and get the pace car off. 2 retirements in the race after the first wreck of the night. Tough break for TG Castlenut and Marvin Werner. They were just trying a bit too hard in the mid-pack there to make some moves that unfortunately did not pay off. Craig Bush will lead them to the restart here. Tyler McCarroll. Stephen Miller in 3rd. Gabe McDuffie. Dylan Smith. Casey Klein. Borat Sagdiev, your top 7. Wow, Borat just sends it in there. Full send from the number 14, as he doesn't want to be on the bubble. He wants to be up to 6th. He wants to be up to 5th. That bubble spot is definitely a tricky place to be in, because you could be on the way out in the blink of an eye. And now it's on Casey Klein to try and hold that position as the number 9 of Rand Kataz goes down low on him here. "22 laps to go. We're halfway through. 23 in. Good old-fashioned short track racing here on a Thursday. Pre-recorded on a Tuesday, but you'll be seeing this live on a premiere Thursday, prior to the Coke 600 later in the day. So far, Wiscasset's getting a big thumbs up for me. Oh no! Borat gets run into by Gabe McDuffie. Those were 2 of your transfer drivers fighting for a transfer spot here tonight. And Gabe McDuffie just runs right into the back of Borat Sagdiev. Those 2 cars look like they might be toast here. Tough break for 2 more transfer spots. Yep, that is all she wrote, it looks like, for the 14 of Borat Sagdiev. And if you thought it's wild here in the heat race, just you wait until the main event here later in the broadcast. Once we have 29 cars out there fighting for the win tonight. Someone is going to come out with a big win here on the short track. I've really not seen this kind of danger in an ARCA race lately. Usually our ARCA drivers are pretty calm, cool, and collected. But for the first time here tonight at Wiscasset, all bets are off. We are getting set for the restart here. Gabe McDuffie went a lap down, and he's probably going to need half the field to wreck out if he wants to transfer into the main event here tonight. Let's just hope that he's not the wreck that takes out half the field. As your leaders blow by him here. Stephen Miller on the outside of him. 15 laps to go in a heat number 1. Things have kind of settled down here a little bit at the front as Craig Bush leads Tyler McCarroll, Stephen Miller, Rand Kataz, Casey Klein, Dylan Smith, and now Violet Void up into the top 7. This is her first ever start for Owl Bunch Incorporated, and looking to try and make the main event here tonight. Number 80, Dodge Dart. 9 laps to go now. On the bubble, you've got Bucky Campbell outside looking in, hoping to make the main event. He's got his work cut out for him to get around Violet Void in the number 80, though. Very fast-paced action for a short track. They're not getting much slower than 68 miles an hour. Imagine going through a turn at 68 miles an hour. Holy cow, 70 miles an hour through the turn there. That's like going on the freeway. But you're never turning on the freeway. You're going straight for 70 miles an hour. So this bull ring, very treacherous, very fast. Very dangerous, but very fun. And these drivers are putting on a show here tonight. Donovan Heist now looking to try and take the transfer spot away from Violet Void. He sticks a nose down low there. Violet keeps the position for now. Going to be 4 laps to go this time, but it looks like the 25 might have the speed here. Violet starting to stretch it out now. The race continues to stay green. Our leaders are off, set sail. As Craig Bush takes the white flag here, Tyler McCarroll Stephen Miller, Rand Kataz, Casey Klein, and the 51 of Dylan Smith with the 80 of Violet Void. Come around the track one more time, and those are your 7 transfers into the main event here today. Three retirements. Unfortunately, those definitely sting. Missing out here on the main event tonight. And that, folks, is a wrap for the first heat race here today. Very interesting inside field here on this track. I like the old school cars, the late models, hobby stocks, whatever you want to call them. That's pretty neat. I like this track a lot already. Wow, that's cool. Huh. Sorry to the folks, unfortunately, that couldn't make it through here tonight. On to the next Sigma ARCA race for some of y'all, as you'll be sitting out this event here. Well, let us get rolling right on in to heat number 2. $20 cars, 45 laps. Who's going to come out making it into the main event here in heat number 2?
Favors, touch all your seatbelts, connect, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favors, touch all your seatbelts,
so on the front row, we've got Kyle Chestnut and Joseph Hayes here in heat number 2. Chris Jeremio with Hank Scorpio. Chase Kovacic and Drew Clue. Sarah Robert and Alex Sanvital. Cooper Landry and Sebastian Galloway Jr. Travis Regan and AJ Kosnoff. Pedro Sales and Matthew Hubert. Timothy Buchanan and Jamie McMurphy. How did I do that? Hold on real... You know what? No, we'll give it a try. We'll pretend like Borat was given another opportunity after the wreck. Nah, that can't be right. There's another driver in that other heat, which is what we'll do actually. Since Borat's in this one, we'll go ahead and throw the other 2 drivers in as a wild card. The 63 of TG Castlenut and the... Oh, who was the car that he collided with? Sorry, folks. Some minor technological difficulties here. Oh yeah, it was the 81 of Werner that he collided with. So we're going to give them both another try here. Fair is fair. I figure why not? Give them an LCQ-esque one final shot as they got wrecked out in the first one. And I'm totally doing this on the fly, folks. I had no plans or intentions to do that, but here we go. Giving them one fair shake. It's definitely not the way they want to make it through, but it's a given opportunity nonetheless. Chase Kovacic and Taylor Cording on the front row, with Kyle Chestnut and Sarah Robert behind them. You've got Travis Regan and Joseph Hayes, Borat Sagdiev and Hank Scorpio, TG Castlenut and AJ Kosnoff, Cooper Landry and Alex Sanvital, Marvin Werner and Sebastian Galloway Jr., Pedro Sales and Wormy Wormington, Matthew Huber and Billy Lovejoy, with Timothy Buchanan, Jamie McMurphy, Chris Jeremio, and Drew Clue rounding out the field here in heat number 2. Same as the first heat, only 7 will prevail. And it's very, very prominent to start up front in the short races to get the advantage. Inside's huge here. You don't want to be on the outside. Starting on the outside is usually a slippery slope to fall backwards. And already, Chase Kovacic and Taylor Cording are duking it out for the lead. Kyle Chestnut right there behind the two of them. And now the cars are truly glued to the track, flying around this third mile racetrack. It's amazing that TG Castlenut gets another opportunity and yet starts right about where he was in heat number 1. But you always get an opportunity. You never know what could happen and how things can change in the blink of an eye here. Borat fighting for that top 7 yet again. He's running in 8th. Our leaders have not got it situated up front, and they still fight it out side by side for the overall lead. Taylor Cording putting on a good show here with Chase Kovacic as they drag race all the way around the track, side by side. Neck and neck, these two are not going to give an inch. Some of the best close combat that we've seen in SIGMA ARCA racing this year. Taylor Cording's got an edge there. Kovacic starting to lose a little bit of ground. But he's going to try to fight back on the outside. The only thing that's problematic about staying side by side like this, all it takes is a mistake from one driver and your whole day could be done. Kovacic sends it in up on the high side here, but it looks like Taylor's going to finally close the door on the 77. Still fighting for 3rd and 4th. You've got Sarah Robert and Kyle Chestnut. Hank Scorpio and Joseph Hayes with AJ Kosnoff, the last car in the transfer spot, with 7th. Travis Regan on the outside looking in. Looks like TG Castlenut finally found the inside lane here, which is going to pay dividends in the end. Getting down low here. He's got about 5 cars that he's got to get around to have a chance. Running 13th right now, behind Borat Sagdiev, who's running in 12th. Here comes the 95 of Sebastian Galloway Jr. as he's got himself up into 9th. Taylor Cording out front, cruising now as Chase Kovacic 2nd, Sarah Robert 3rd, Kyle Chestnut 4th, Hank Scorpio 5th, Joseph Hayes, and AJ Kosnoff. This second heat's going a lot quicker. We have not yet seen a wreck for this second heat. Everyone's racing a lot cooler. Doesn't mean it could be around the corner though. And for those of you that kind of like these heat races, you'll get quite a few opportunities to catch them here for the next 5 weeks or so, as Wiscasset, Five Flags, Evergreen, Berlin, and even the dirt race at the Chili Bowl. 5 races, 5 weekends of heat races to determine the main field for the SIGMA ARCA Series. Wiscasset here is a 45-120, so the 2 heats, 45 laps, and the main event 120. Fully anticipating the 120 laps here within the next 15 minutes is going to be a wild one here, folks, and you won't want to miss it. Well, we made it past halfway and still flying through this race. Heat number 2 is looking like it could go caution free. Still a lot of positions up for debate here as we've got some drivers duking it out with each other. Few folks have really fallen further back. Seems like the damage sustained for the 14, 63, and 81 were not as easily fixed. They did their best to get the car back out there for heat number 2, but it's not showing the speed that they need to get into the main event. Of course, we could still get a late race caution here that could restack them all. And you might as well throw everything out the window with any kind of caution that we might get. In what is only her second start, Sarah Roberts having a great showing here today. Running side by side with Kyle Chestnut for 3rd place. And these are some of your folks that might end up going home here tonight. Wormy Wormington, Sebastian Galloway Jr., Pedro Sales, Alex Sanvital, Chris Jeremio, Borat Sagdiev, TG Castlenut, Jamie McMurphy, Cooper Landry, Matthew Hubert, Billy Lovejoy, Drew Clue, Timothy Buchanan, or even Marvin Werner. Your leader, Taylor Cording, is actually catching up to some lap traffic here in Marvin Werner. Might not really factor in as there's only 10 laps to go now. But she might have to be careful here navigating the traffic, even if it's only a couple laps left to go. Taylor Cording had the fastest lap here in the second heat. Here we go. We could see a swap for the lead in the closing laps here as Chase Kovacic has closed the gap significantly on Taylor Cording. 5 laps to go this time by. Marvin Werner is throwing the leaders for a bit of a curveball here. They're not quite sure how to get around the 81 at the moment. This has also allowed the rest of the top 7 to start to kind of slinky back up to each other here. Whoa, here goes Kovacic on a move here for the lead. Doesn't pay any points to win the heat race, but definitely gives you some bragging rights. Sarah Robert right there. Oh, and the 54 of Taylor Cording is going to make the pass on the outside of the 81. Three laps remaining. Kovacic now on the inside of the 81. And the other leaders here are going to have to navigate that 81 traffic with careful considerations. They don't want to make a wreck happen here. Especially don't want to be wrecked twice in one night if you're Marvin Werner. And there we have it. Taylor Cording transfers out. Kovacic, Sarah Robert, Kyle Chestnut, Hank Scorpio, Joseph Hayes, and AJ Kosnoff, your top 7 here in heat number 2. No cautions. Oh, and we wrecked right after the caution. What in the world? The 81 got in contact again. Well, it's just in, folks. SIGMA officials have already came to terms with the post-race curriculars there. The 23 of Travis Regan is actually going to transfer in to the event after the 33 gets slammed into the wall and his day comes to a screeching halt here. Irreparable damage to that number 33 forces him on his way home here tonight. 23 of Travis Regan makes the show. What a crazy, crazy pair of heat races. And it'll be a brief intermission here, folks, as we get set up for the main event of the evening.
Make sure you get everything like you want it.
Alrighty, folks, time for the 120 lap main event from the Maine Madness 165 here tonight. Starting on the front row, you've got Casey Klein and Tasha Wright, followed by Willow Blake taking over in the number 00 here in the interim. Looking for a new driver perhaps to fill that seat, but she gets to step back down into ARCA where she had a lot of success last season. She's going to start alongside Ralph Oberstadt, Santi Messi and Carlos Eduardo, Violet Void and Steven Miller, Shy Turtle and Chase Kovacic, Brandon Butler II, and last race's winner Campbell Marsh, Kaylee Sheets and Joseph Hayes, Craig Bush and Travis Regan, Finley Herwig, your points leader, alongside Jonah Burridge, his competitor. Ryan White with the 88 of Kyle Chestnut, Taylor Cording and Heen Clutchoke, Rand Kataz and Sarah Robert, Cassie Perkins and AJ Kosnoff, Ace Vaden, Tyler McCarroll, and Dylan Smith rounding out the field here today. 120 laps to come. Are we going to see them play nice, or is this going to turn into an ARCA race for the record books here tonight? Tasha Wright still seeking her first career win in all of SIGMA competition. Going to have a great start here in the 120 lap event.
How quick the commitment line comes up on you into turn 2 there. Don't let him speed to the short box right there. Second was under
Green light in hand, green flag waving. And we're off and rolling for 120 laps here around Wiscasset. Two by two, they come rolling around the track just like Noah's Ark. Casey Klein has the inside line, but Tasha seems to have the edge on the outside. Gives them a little bit of a side bump there as they continue to duel it for the lead. Tasha actually did not get the lead lap there. That went to Casey Klein. As Tasha's trying to give it her all here. Some true short track ringers in the mix. Casey Klein, a short track extraordinaire. Ralph Oberstadt runs a lot of short track races. So it's starting to show here tonight why they're running up at the front of the field. With it being 120 laps, you got to guarantee that lap traffic will factor into this race. And I would be surprised if this thing goes caution-free all the way through. Your leader's doubled up, still fighting for the lead. Not giving an inch. This is what short track racing is all about, folks. Casey Klein on the inside with the preferred line, but Tasha driving with fearless abandon at the front of the field. We will have green-white checkers enabled here at the short track, just in case we need them. Here's to hoping that we don't need them, but you never know. It could help really settle the score at the end of the night. Casey Klein's always been one to save and conserve his tires, but he's not doing a whole lot of that in the early running here, as he's fighting around the inside on Tasha Wright to get the lead away from her. Tasha not wanting to give up, though. She's still trying to fight on the high side. Her and Casey Klein duking it out for the lead. Shy Turtle now up into the top 5 as he's knocking on the door behind Willow Blake in the 00. Tasha loses the lead here for now as Casey Klein takes over sole possession of the lead. Shy Turtle on a tear. It's his birthday. This stream is being run the same day as his birthday. Could we possibly have a birthday winner? That doesn't happen very often in Sigma racing. He's having a good showing here at the short track. A little bit of luck and perseverance, he could totally find his way up to the front here. Our points leader, Finley Herwig, picking him off one by one as he's now up to 11th. He was much deeper in the starting lineup here tonight, and he's starting to work his way up to the front. So fastest lap in the race right now belongs to your leader, Casey Klein. Ooh, and Santi Messi trying to get around Shy Turtle for 5th in the number 5 car. Shy Turtle's having to play the defense game here as the 5 gets by him. Still a lot of racing to be done here tonight. Ralph Oberstadt just clipped a fast time, running in 3rd there, so perhaps Casey Klein using his stuff up a little bit much here in the early running as the rest of the competitors behind him can start maybe opening up on the conservation and try to open up on catching the leader. Santi Messi just turned the fastest lap of the race, a 14.499. So they're starting to come from behind here, turning up the wicker just a little bit. Oh, and we've got our first caution of the race. Looks like it may have involved the 99 of Campbell Marsh and the 88 of Kyle Chestnut. Yep, Campbell Marsh just gets into the back of the 88 there. Not much else he could do. Hard hit on the barrier there. The tire barriers are not very forgiving. When these drivers hit it, it's like slamming your car up against a brick barrier. We'll see if Campbell Marsh is retired after that. I don't see him retired yet. Nope, he's gonna try to come back out. Might be a lap down though. No double file restarts on these short tracks because of the glitches and ways that NR2003 will find ways to crash on us. Single file, kind of old school, bringing it back to the yesteryear in racing history, as single file restarts at the short tracks are always unpredictable. Campbell Marsh lap down, gets to start on the inside of the leaders. Oh boy, we had a big push there from the 5. That was a bold move from Santi Messi. I must say, wow, he was flying through the grass. He got turned by Shy Turtle, and he just kept it hammered on the gas pedal and merges back in the racing line right alongside the 00 of Willow Blake there. Holy cow, man. Mad kudos, mad driving skills there on Santi Messi to not lose total control of the number 5 car there. And another caution reigns on the track here. 84 of Joseph Hayes is slow at the back of the field. Oh, and it is Jonah Burridge, our one of our top contenders in the points battle, that hooked him there. Seems to be the kind of the hot spot here is turn 1 going into turn 2, where the drivers are just getting a little too much mustard on the hot dog. Wave around is going to go to Campbell Marsh. Lucky dog here tonight. After being 1 lap down, he's going to get back on the lead lap. And that's going to give us a more standard, a traditional restart without any lap traffic on the inside. Casey Klein leads them to the restart over Tasha Wright, Ralph Oberstadt, Willow Blake, and Santi Messi. As the pace car pulls off, 86 laps left to go still here, so a lot of racing still to play out. Whoa, Shy Turtle gets bumped into there by the 43. They're playing bumper cars for 7th position there. That's no way to treat the birthday boy. Shy Turtle might strike back with retaliation there after getting bumped out of his position. Oh yeah, look at that. He almost ran into the back bumper of the 43. He is not happy with Brandon Butler there. This could be an ongoing battle for these two for a little while. Casey Klein still out front leading. Tasha Wright and Ralph Oberstadt behind that. Oberstadt with the fastest lap again. Here's hoping we can get some green laps and run a good chunk of the race here now. Finley Herwig starting to crack into the top 10 here now. As he currently runs in 9th. Your points leader looking to extend that points lead even more here tonight. And there you have it. Finley Herwig now getting up into 8th as he blows by the 09 of Shy Turtle. It's definitely going to be a tough stretch for these Sigma ARCA drivers, as many of these heat race short tracks, it's going to make it hard for the folks in, crunch time here to get points that they need. And there we have another caution. I could hear the crunching in the background. Was it? Oh, wow, that's a gnarly looking hit there. Oh, and it's LFG teammates. The 18 of Craig Bush and the 16 of Heen Clutchoke get into it. That's a hard hit for the 18. That may be a day over for Craig Bush. Yep, 18 out of the race in the accident. Almost wondering if I could utilize a double file restart here on the final restart of the race. Don't know about that. I know that the game crashes with better cautions on short tracks, but who knows if we wait till the end to maybe initiate it. You never know. That wouldn't be fair, though. You got to keep rolling with the rules that you started the race with. Pace cars off. Casey Klein leads them to the restart again. Tasha needs a little bit of luck here. And possibly even needs to use that front bumper just a hair to get the one car shuffled out of the fast lane. Tasha trying to go a different route here, going a varied line in the racing line here. It's not paying off yet, but we'll see. Casey Klein is simply on a heater of a race so far. He's not steered a wheel wrong yet. Santi Messi keeps trying to pick him off one by one. He's got his sights set on the 78 of Ralph Oberstadt here for third, as he currently runs in fourth. Slowly catching up to halfway in this race here. 54 laps in, 66 laps to go. And we have yet another caution here. Oh, and that is another race-ending wreck. Oh boy, oh boy. Aw, man, Sarah Robert, after making it through the heat race, they get trapped 3 wide going through turn 3. And it's too short of a track to have 3 wide like that. They get sandwiched into the tire barrier outside of the racetrack. Wow. Tough break for those involved in the wreck as the retirement count continues to grow here today. The 96 Tyler McCarroll, the 79 of Sarah Robert, the 19 of Ace Vaden, the 18 of Craig Bush, 88, and the 51 also out of the race, Kyle Chestnut and Dylan Smith. Still 23 cars left running. Due to attrition, the 99 of Campbell Marsh has actually worked his way up to 23rd now. And each time we have more cars wreck out, that just means more spots for some of the other drivers to gain. 61 laps in. Well, already 61 laps, 60-60. 59 to go. Oh, wow. Tasha lost some spots there. I wonder if they made pit stops. Did they actually pit at halfway? Whoa, no way. When the wreck happened, Casey Klein went through the dirt, and Tasha gets run into by the 78. Look at that chaos there as they go to the start-finish line. Man, oh, the 09 gets turned. Shy Turtle gets turned on his birthday. Dude, what in the world? Okay, yeah, we are now short track racing, folks. Things are just getting out of control. Tasha decided to take the matters into her own hand after Shy Turtle wronged her for positions and gives him a good bump through turns 1 and 2 here, spinning him out. But unfortunately for Tasha, that may have caused her far more damage to the 90 car than it was the 09. Ooh, Shy Turtle going for a wild ride there, getting knocked around like a pinball. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, maybe we can get back to some racing here tonight. Tasha spending some time on pit road, perhaps getting some repairs done to the 90, but I don't know if she's going to return after the damage sustained. It looked like that car was smoking when she drove off. Yeah, not looking pretty for the 90. Fortunately for Tasha, retired out of the race now. So, as we re-rack here, it has been a very chaotic last 10 laps roughly. Who's going to have car enough to finish the race, as so many of the drivers are now getting bumped, beat up, and banged around? Five yellow flags here today from Wiscasset for 16 laps run under caution. Truly a wild ordeal for some of those that are involved here today. Mostly feel bad for Tasha Wright having such a great run here today. Come to a screeching halt right after halfway. Kind of neat here, Ryan Little paying tribute to the man, the myth, the legend of the SIGMA Racing Series, Calvin Steele. It's a throwback to a throwback. Calvin Steele would run a throwback to Harry Gant. Well, as you can see, Ryan White is running a true throwback called the Steel Bandit. As you can see there, Steel Bandit. A lot like the Skull Bandit. It's one of the neatest throwbacks that we could find in the SIGMA series ever. Thanks to Ryan White. Giving it a good run here. Calvin Steele always raced at the short tracks where I grew up around here, and was a family friend of ours. I never got to see him race. By the time I was born, we knew Calvin after his racing. And but there's pictures out there, and he would go out there and run in a car with the number 3Z. He'd pretty much duct tape the number on there. 32 was his favorite number, or honestly it was more so 3Z if you asked him. So glad to see this car out here tonight, putting on a good show at a short track, just as Calvin Steele would have done. Willow Blake definitely thrown into a precarious position, filling in for the 00 entry, and she's having a good run here tonight, running in 4th. That 00 was very much in the title conversation, and it's not going to be anymore since the driver has swapped hands. 80 of Violet Void still in. She'll have the points that she got driving the 00, so she's still fighting for a championship. We'll see how the rest of the season turns out for Violet Void. Things kind of settled into a nice green flag run here, as we're down to 37 laps left to go. Casey Klein leads the way, and he's catching up to the 99 of Bucky Campbell. Or Campbell Marsh, my bad. Gosh, there's Campbell here, Campbell there, and I got that one messed up big time. Campbell Marsh, and I should know better because this is a race-winning driver. Having a rough go here tonight at Wiscasset, though. Campbell Marsh about to go a lap down. Well, we are down to 32 laps left to go here. Casey Klein has caught up to the first lapped car in his way here tonight. It took 90 laps roughly to get to that point, and it's right here upon him. With the lap traffic, that could help bring the rest of the party into the mix. Ralph Oberstadt licking his chops, hoping for an opportunity to pounce on the leader here. Just like that, Casey Klein not able to get around the 99 of Marsh so quickly. And the lap times are greatly diminished here for Casey Klein as he's having some trouble getting around the 99. Here comes Ralph Oberstadt. Cue the Jaws theme music as he's knocking on the door of trying to take the lead away. He's going to be tasked with the same objective ahead of him, to get around the 99, which has caused Casey Klein some trouble here. If Casey Klein can't get around the 99, what's saying the 78 can? Campbell Marsh has held up the front of the field here, and you've got a about a 4-car fight now about to break out for the overall lead. And this is just one of those factors of racing. You know, some people might not like it, especially the drivers who will rue the fact that they have to get stuck behind slower lap traffic. That racer in the number 99 is still trying to stay on the lead lap and get as many points here today. There's no rules telling him he's got to drop and let them by. It's actually pretty impressive that he's able to hold off a leader like this. It just shows you how hard to pass sometimes on the track it really is. But at the same time, Casey Klein struggling to find an open spot that the 99 is not occupying. So you gotta admire the defensive driving out of the 99 as well. 19 laps to go, and it is tightened way up for the overall lead of the race. 1 lap car is all it takes for the entire field to bunch up here and fight for the win. Holy cow, Dave. Oh, wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the heck in the world is going on here? Ryan White has climbed all the way through the field from 7th up to 2nd. Here he's going to take the lead away from Casey Klein. Klein gets shoved way high here. What a tremendous surge here at the end of the race. Wow, from 7th to 2nd. That is really, really bold. Casey Klein finally gets around the lap traffic, though, and it may not be enough for Ryan White in the Steel Bandit, number 70 car there. Wow. 13 laps to go. Still a chance here for some of these drivers to get around, but Casey Klein has set sail after passing the lapped car there. They've got to make work of it real quickly to get around the 99. We might get another caution here before the end of the race. Ah, man, that's a tough break. The 70 had found the opening and took it, and unfortunately is getting stuck behind the lap traffic, causing him to lose all the ground that he had just made up. Well, now looking to be a mute point here tonight as Casey Klein had given us some hope that there could be a chance for a lead change, but he pulled the rug from out of under everyone else's feet as he's closing this thing out with just 4 laps to go now. He really kicked it back into overdrive after getting around the lap car there. Ryan White's going to come home with a solid 5th if he can hold on there. Cassie Perkins 6th, Brandon Butler the 2nd, fighting her for that position. 6th and 7th on the track right now. Willow Blake 8th, Taylor Cording 9th, and Travis Regan 10th as Finley Herwig drops to 11th. Two laps to go this time by. Carlos Eduardo's just going to come up short here in his attempt to try and get a win. He's had multiple runner-up finishes, and this is just going to add to that list of runner-up finishes that we've seen from the number 15. Casey Klein rolls around, and he's going to take yet another victory in the SIGMA ARCA Series, bringing home victory at Wiscasset Speedway here in Maine for the 120-lap main event. 5 cautions was pretty crazy here tonight that we saw so many cautions. Happy birthday, Shy Turtle. I know it wasn't the best of races, but at least you did it in style. Oh, wow. We've got some wild racing after the fact here at this track. Dang. Kaylee Sheets gets slammed there. Bam. Rough. Good thing the race was already over. Dang. So congratulations to Casey Klein on getting his 2nd career SIGMA ARCA win in a very dominant fashion here tonight. And that, folks, is a wrap here for the SIGMA ARCA race from Wiscasset. Hopefully all enjoyed it. We've got a big race coming up here later today. This Coke 600 is right around the corner. And those of you that made the main event, good luck, as this is going to be one of the biggest events you could potentially win in a SIGMA Cup race. There's a few that take the cake that are even bigger, but this is one of those that everyone's got kind of marked on their calendar to try and win. The next one up on the calendar, of course, would be the 777 Annual from Las Vegas on July 7th. And this is kind of the appetizer course before the big entree, which is Las Vegas. So hopefully we can get a good race in. As you see there, Tyler Shangle won the Coke 600 last year in 2024. And so, yeah. We'll see if the Shangles keep the trend going, or maybe someone new gets to victory lane for the Coke 600 here in 2025. Thanks again, folks, for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.